Welcome back. Thanks very much for coming again. This is day 2. Hopefully something will happen today now that'll be, exciting, or whatever everyone needs will happen. Feel free to get yourself a chair if you want to sit down and move about in order that you can see as well. Feel free to move about. This is my firstborn, Hope, and she's. I did ask for something. I love the bit of colour in the scarf. I think is exciting. So this is great. And I thought I'd work from the. I'm even going to make you turn completely towards me, just for the demonstration. Yeah, actually just your head. Yeah, there we are. And then you just get the symmetrical kind of viewpoint. There we are. Okay. Warm enough and everything, Hope? Mm-hmm. Okay, magic. All right. So, and I'll introduce you to everybody once we've alarm is in 20 minutes now. Excuse me. I'm doing it myself this morning. Right. And I'll introduce you to Hope once we've done a bit of painting first maybe. So, I was considering after going home last night, number one, I felt tired and I thought probably everybody here feels tired. And I was going to suggest that you use your chair more often during the day today. Remember to sit down. The reason I've put a chair beside every easel is for that purpose. And sometimes if you rest, it allows you to kind of have more clarity in your seeing. You'll have a fresh eye and it's just a good idea to keep looking after yourself. Keep hydrated as well, make sure you've got enough water. And after the demonstration, you'll shake it off a little bit, and in order that you'll physically feel a little bit more open and spacious as well. But of course, it's important to get going as well because I want you to have painting time. Okay, so lovely. Oh, I think that's Susan. No. Okay. So we'll have one more person joining us. Her alarm didn't go off this morning. In one of those days, she's going to be beside me here. Alison will be taking over this position. I mean, Alison, you could go there or here actually. Jennifer. Jennifer. Yeah. You could have that spot if you wanted to, and Susan can be here. Okay. Just for ease of access, if you want to. Okay. Yeah, so the same thing that was yesterday. I recommend that you kind of begin looking at your model and visualizing the space. Like first I'm looking at the triangle of Hope's forehead here, and how it's slightly off-center, the triangle of the forehead. And then there's the oval shape below that. And I'm kind of already beginning to figure out the position she might occupy on the page, So let's see. Yeah. And with my eyes half closed, I'm noticing where the darks and lights are. And I might just kind of get going today, and then, maybe I won't talk quite as much. I'm just going to make a start. I think I talk an awful lot today. I probably will talk. As soon as I say I won't do something, I do it then. Okay. So I'm going to start with the cadmium red. I've given you each a bit of scrap paper in order that you can see the colours and how they behave on a vertical, And you might even be able to, you might try out your brush mark on here before putting it on the page. Alright, so that's okay. It's a bit of an ongoing tickle, is it?
It's really, yes, yeah.
It's kind of irritating for you.
It's irritating.
Well, more for you, like. Okay, so with my eyes half closed, I'm noticing that there's a shadow below the cheekbone on the right-hand side of Hope's face here. And then at the temple, there's a little bit of shadow. You can kind of gradually find your way in, and your main job really is to steady yourself enough that you can focus fully and really be attentive. So step by step, take it easy. Remember, I forgot this, remember to breathe. Just the kind of focusing, sometimes as you're steadying yourself, focusing on the out breath can be very helpful in order to be more attentive. So let's see. I'm just using the big brush as well, because this is the one that'll get me there fastest, really. And there's the shadow of the socket of the eye. And in placing the shadows, we're kind of carving out the areas of light. And you'll find that there'll be ways, once you get used to using the flat brushes, there's ways that you can hold the brush that will more swiftly make the mark for you. So holding it this way, the paint will accumulate at the bottom, and I might be able to print, for example, the horizontal of the chin. And we've got the eye coming in here, so I might go over a little bit further. And then the corner of it could explain the shadow that sits beneath the nose. Just any indication really of the position of the nose early on. And this colour, while it's very clearly visible from a few steps away and everything, it's not very, it'll be easy to lift it off and to adjust the edges of it, because it's just one single layer and it's only barely touched on the page. You're holding the brush lightly, the mark is being made quite lightly. You're just touching the page quite, fairly gently really. And then there's the shadow of the socket of the other eye as well. Just beginning to find the light on the bridge of the nose there. And pushing and lifting is another good way of explaining things, like for example the eyebrow there, the angle of the eyebrow. Just in the early stages, again it's something that could be adjusted. You can tell yourself, it's good enough for now. That's a very good phrase, I find. It's good enough for now, and just move on. Sometimes you can kind of feel like you're lingering over the mark you've made over and over and ruminating about it. Actually, your time is better spent, I think, just moving on to the next mark. Trust that you've seen enough and you've done your best there now. Move on to the next mark. And then things kind of resolve themselves. Like Francis Bacon said, I want to have order in my work, but for it to have come about through chaos. So you arrive at order eventually. If there's a kind of an attention, you don't believe that, do you, Evie?
Yeah. I'm thinking of Francis Bacon. His whole life was chaos, but look at his work.
It did seem a bit of, yeah.
He knew what he wanted.
He was walking that thin line, I think, yeah. But, yeah. And it's, there'll be flux around it, but I think it's worthwhile leaping, taking that leap of faith. And trusting that what's revealed to you as you look is what you need to see, and then just pick that out and place it down. It's then just do that. Just like all my life, I've been just doing that. It's a funny thing, isn't it? It's not as though it's a given. But Sickert, I keep going on about quotes now from different people. I really do love what artists say about their practice though. And Walter Sickert said, if you put free loose coat over free loose coat, eventually the deaf canvas listens and the painting paints itself. So there's something about kind of keeping the faith and being free and responding to what's there, that eventually you feel like you're kind of getting into the flow of it. Yeah. And then simply doing it is important too, rather than talking about it. So I'm going to mix the blue and brown together here now. And it's helpful too to regularly stand back. So the blue and brown will give me a colour that will work for, let's see, shadows, the side of the face there, just to bring in the colour of the hair. My eyes half closed now, I'm kind of carving into the shape of the face, just to be sure that I'm finding where things are. You can always adjust stuff in the face afterwards as well. This is just to help me get the landscape of the face happening here. And over here then there's a bit of dark as well. Don't know why I seem to be going bigger these days. Normally the face is about 3/4 life size. And it seems like yesterday and today I'm kind of going very big.
It looks smaller than you normally do, doesn't it, today? It looks
Does it?
slightly smaller,
Does
but
it?
yes.
Um,
That's smooth, I think.
no, but I feel like it's still kind of bigger than life size, is it? I don't know. Anyway. Right. Okay, so here's an example now of needing to adjust something already really. Let's see, so there's a shadow here. I'm wanting to figure out where the eyebrows would sit in relation to the length of the face, and let's see. And I wonder whether maybe the eyebrows need to come down a little bit into that space there. And we'll have the neck a little bit below that. Yeah, so I feel like maybe I can bring the eyebrows down a little bit. So with my eyes half closed again, and the fact that the eyebrow is darker significantly than the shadows beneath it, I feel like it's okay. We can notice that I'm no longer thinking that that's where the eyebrow is, because this is quite a deep tone now. And here. So that's the Van Dyke brown now and the ultramarine blue that I'm using for the darks in the skin as well. It's quite a fairly strong really at this stage in the painting, but it's alright too, we'll see. I think it's good to take a bit of a risk sometimes, even though every part, an awful lot of me is going to say, for feck's sake, can you just, try and do it a little bit more safe, be more safe. And it would, but actually, I think it's a decision in every move maybe to kind of risk losing things in order, I don't know. And then, anyway, I don't know. I suppose, kind of selfishly in the end, I know that's where the best work comes from anyway, is if you can, or the best experience really, is where you're surprising yourself with what you're doing best you can. About the neck there. Anyway, alright. So I'm going to use some, I think this is maybe burnt sienna. Yeah. That feels like quite a good colour for the top, and it'll take the pressure off what's going on in the face, and I can come back in to do something in the mouth area and everything after that. But like you have the chance of lively mark making in the body. You can do something that will, like I said about Paul Klee saying, make chance essential. It's possible to do that in the area of the body without disturbing what you've done so far too much, like. And it'll kind of, it'll kind of let you remember that it's only a piece of paper as well. It's not, although it feels sometimes like it might be life or death, it isn't. It isn't that desperately critical a thing. Alright, I mean later on that it will be possible to make a bit more sense of that area. I think sometimes it's purely for releasing that some marks are made. But the colour, it feels like the colour of the top, so that's okay. It's not an awful lot of structure came in there. But when that's dry, later on I'll be doing the hair over that, and I feel like it'll sit back when the hair is placed on over the top. Okay, and then there's the kind of yellow of the scarf there where the light is hitting it. Notice that maybe like lemon yellowish with the white underneath it. I think it'll read as being a light colour anyway. Maybe more yellow ochre really, which I don't actually have on my palette. I'm going to steal some of yours, Belle. I didn't notice. He's looking at Kieran. It's maybe more yellow ochre, isn't it? Yeah. The alarm is going to go off now, don't worry. Yeah, I have another 6 minutes. And then there's some yellow ochre on this side as well here. Okay. And it's going to help you to choose different brush choose different brushes and, you know, keep yourself making different marks through the variety of the brushes you use, and also to keep your colours clean enough on the brush. It's another reason to change your brushes over. If you've got dark brown on one brush, it'll take a lot of washing to get it clean enough to do a light colour. So just change your brushes according to the colour you're using. Okay, I'm going to see about explaining the mouth a little bit. So, you know, there's certain parts of the face that I recommend looking for in order to describe the topography of the face, kind of. And I think the things that are helpful are the two directions. Well, maybe first getting some sort of shape to describe the forehead, the width in relation to the height, and what kind of a triangle it is. And one side of that triangle will be the eyebrows, really. And there's two directions generally to the eyebrow. You know, one explaining the front side of the face and then the turn to go to around the side of the face. So it's a helpful thing to find the second angle too. But even just at this stage, putting something in to describe the direction of the eyebrow without feeling like you're painting the hairs of the eyebrow, just something to describe the direction of it. Some bit of a shadow underneath the nose that will let us know that there's a shadow attached to the nose and kind of cast by it. But any little shadow between the nose and the mouth, you know, see where it's positioned, that shadow. Forget it's a nose. Half close your eyes maybe, and just find the position of the dark between the eyebrows and the mouth. So that's the second or the third thing. So you've got the shape of the forehead, the eyebrows, and then the position of the shadow underneath the nose. The next thing, which I'm going to do now, is the shape of the dark of the upper lip. And there's the corner of the mouth, and really finding the slope there, looking at the light skin above it. There's quite a steep slope here. And a bit like when you're placing the eye, looking at the shape of skin between the eye and the eyebrow, I would look at the skin between the mouth, between the upper lip, and the shadow that's diagonally running down from the nose there, you know, looking at that shape is helpful. And then we've got the horizontal line, and it runs, and again holding it like this in the same way as I was holding it like that for the chin will allow the paint to accumulate along the line dividing the lips. And then I wanted to drop down on this side too to describe the corner of the mouth on this side. And after that, then I would bring a little bit of green into it. A little bit of soft green into that red colour will give me a colour that won't read as lip colour anymore, which is what I want for the shadow that sits underneath the lower lip. So I want it to be, you know, to read as different from the lip colour. And to leave I want to leave enough space that I really can see the light. Maybe that's a little bit too greenish now. I can see the light on the lower lip. I'm not so concerned with filling in the right hand side of the lower lip, which actually isn't catching the light. But I think a more helpful shadow to find is the one that runs from the lower lip across the face, and it occupies the little bit underneath the chin there as well, you know. And I could use that same colour up here as well to continue explaining the shadow in the socket of the eye, and maybe carve into the eyebrow shape a little, maybe to print the second direction of the eyebrow there too. And standing back regularly is very helpful. That same colour looks to me like not a bad colour to describe the hair, and I'd say my bella's going to go any second now, so I'll maybe do that as a general move, just to, because like I was saying yesterday, it's a helpful thing to spiral in, doing something kind of particular, and then spiral out and do something free again, to keep yourself moving, you know. And we will do a bit of a warm-up for anyone who wants to do it. We'll do a physical bit of a carry-on. I just wanted to test the water with that colour, you know, because I think it's quite similar to the skin colour. I mean, you can make it different later on, but just for now, seeing as I've got it there, and I've made some small marks in the face with that colour, well, maybe I'll put some burnt sienna into it. It's the red and green, but I've put a bit of burnt sienna in just, you see, the thing is, I wouldn't normally have the colour of the skin the same as the hair colour, but I think because of the dark division, it's okay. I think it's kind of all right to, because of the blue-brown that's there already, and in the eyebrows, I somehow feel like I want to, and maybe because of all that chaos, I want to make some kind of clarity happen and something cohesive. That's my time up now. Hope I just finish the marks in the hair. I'll be about 1 more minute, love, okay? She's in the zone. I'm putting a touch of the alizarin crimson into that now as well. Over here. Oh yeah, maybe that's a bit bright for the shadows there again. Yeah, and I would just recommend that you look at the length of the hair in relation to the length of the face when you're painting her as well, you know, because there's quite a lot of hair down there, and how much the volume of hair in relation to the volume of skin, of the size of the skin. Hope, thanks very much. I think Hope is really, really good at sitting still. Just to let you know, you can rest assured that she'll be in place, and you know, so you can relax about that. Any questions about anything? Or?
When you're just placing it on the page, what is your strategy for that, for doing that? When you've got the piece of paper in front of you, how big and where do you...
Where to position her, yeah. Well, I kind of felt like there was some bit of a slight tilt, I don't know if I made it up even, but something that knocks it off symmetry. I almost wanted to put one of her pieces of hair behind her shoulder, but then I noticed that the scarf has enough of an asymmetry to it. And so my reasoning behind placing her there is really just that I kind of wanted to have space enough to fill in the hair down here. And I think it's a kind of an intuitive thing too, that when you look at her from your point of view and look back at your blank piece of paper, it'll almost let you know where she wants to be, kind of.
Yes.
You know, you'll see from your angle, okay, I kind of like a diagonal that goes up to meet the face. You want to have some bit of a way in, you know, and I think you'll suss that out as you look back at your page. Trust that you'll know where to start. And sometimes just starting is the thing. There's great power in action, you know. So we're going to take about 5 minutes, Hope. Is that okay? A little break of 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, we'll maybe do a little bit of a aerobics class for anyone who wants to join in. Is that okay? Not aerobics, but you know, just, I really do value the thing of moving. Do you want to go here, Jennifer?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I think it is very helpful.
Oh, was it easier if I could?
It doesn't matter at all. Oh yeah, you can have that easel. I was going to just move the easel, wasn't it? Yourself as well, though, you're not going to end up injured or anything. So we're doing a bit of a shaking it off and awakening the chi, as they say. If anyone wants to join us doing that. So just maybe rubbing the hands together. I think it's good to loosen the limbs as well, to be loose of limb. This is still being recorded. I turn that off.